The D-Day Museum has been hosting formal presentations of the Légion d'honneur medal to Second World War veterans by a representative of the French government. And our reporter Shan Robins went along to one such presentation to find out more.
Since 2014, the French government have made an award of the Légion d'honneur to any Second World War veterans who took part in the liberation of France in 1944 that wished to apply for it. It's France's highest French order for military and civil merits and awarded to recognise the selfless acts of heroism and determination displayed by all surviving service personnel involved with the Normandy landings and of the wider campaigns to liberate France that same year. Captain François Jean presented the awards on behalf of the French president, saying they would be heroes forever and that France would never forget what they did to restore freedom to France, nor the sacrifices made by their comrades during the liberation.
I've been asked to introduce my father, Albert Dyson, and he was a petty officer in the Royal Navy, serving as an electrical artificer aboard a landing ship Tank 303.
At age 16, Douglas joined the Home Guard in his hometown of Weymouth, and in 1942, on his 17th birthday, he volunteered for the Royal Navy. Early in 1943, he did training at HMS Collingwood and then volunteered for combined operations.
My father, Reginald James of England, known to his family and friends as Tim, was brought up in Essex, a good old Essex boy. And as a young man, he had a grandstand view of the many skirmishes between RAF Spitfires and German warplanes. Despite the fact that his father was in the Royal Navy during the First World War, it came as no surprise that as soon as he could, my father enlisted in the RAF in 1941.
Our next veteran is Frederick Comart, who I'm going to introduce. So Frederick was called up in September 1943 and reported to Butlins holiday camp at Skegness, which was being used by the Royal Navy. But he says his experience there put him off holiday camps for life.
Bertie was best known as Lofty, because he was quite a lot taller them days. And amongst other names I've been told as well.
I'd like to talk to you about my father, Royal Marine Leslie James Saville. My father was married to Emma Barbara for over 50 years. He's a father to 4 sons, granddad to 7, and great-granddad to 3. Hope he remembers that. But if you cut him in half like a stick of rock, he would have Royal Marine marked right through him.
Douglas was in the Royal Navy Combined Operations aboard landing craft LCT 786, heading towards Sword Beach on D-Day. When they set off, they knew they were off to France to support the landing.
As we left Portsmouth with the ships aboard, we all said prayers on the ship's company, and everywhere you could look, all you could see was ships.
It must have been harrowing and frightening to see, because I mean, when you think they took part in one of the biggest armadas in history, never before or since. The thing with that generation is there's always been like a quiet sort of dignity about what they did. I mean, they never really sort of told us or went on about it.
Many who fought were only teenagers, and war years took those teenage years away. Let us not forget those who cannot be here today with us, but also let those who are with us today have their day. Thank you.
The Légion d'honneur cannot be given posthumously. Military history is the hobby of one of Doug's friends, and he feels passionately that time is running out for other veterans to receive this award.
The French government should have done this a lot long before, because obviously as the years go by, more and more guys are passing on. So they should have done it years ago. But the same, the British government should have done it years ago anyway. They all seem to lack the will to do these sort of things. Once we don't, let's forget them. They don't treat them very well afterwards. They tend to sweep them under the carpet. These guys should have had these medals years ago.
Douglas was critically ill last year, and receiving the Légion d'honneur holds tremendous importance for him.
Because I think of all the lads that never came back. I got it on their behalf.
This is Shan Robins for That's Solent.